America is not a racist country.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is truly a sad story. They pretty much did a Breonna Taylor on this young man, Amir Locke, and he was killed by the Minneapolis Police Department. And this was a no knock warrant, and he was never the intended target. I don't believe there should ever be no knock warrants. I don't care what any of these politicians or whoever's passing these laws say. These things have caused more harm than good, and it also shows what lousy police work that we see behind these warrants. So, you know, um, my heart and prayers go out to the Locke family, his parents, and what a terrible thing to happen. All right, y'all, let's get into this. So, Amir Locke's parents said their son got a gun legally, but always worried about interactions with police. Yes, as a young black man, I don't blame him. With the amount of unarmed killings in America, and there's no care or concern about those things, anybody should be deeply concerned about that. Anybody that's not a devil should be concerned about that. Parents of Amir Locke, a 22-year-old black man fatally shot by police at Minneapolis apartment during a no-knock warrant execution, said Friday that he had obtained a gun legally after a conversation with the family. And I believe when this happened, I was looking at it was a whole different article shortly after. I believe there's quite a few police officers in his family. So he made sure that he did his research and everything was going to be legal. His mother, Karen Wells, told CNN Don Lemon, adding that he learned how to use it and obtained a permit. So he did it legally. So he had every right to have a gun because they've been watching all of their lives about what has been unfolding throughout this nation on our young black men. Yeah, that's very true. And technically older ones too. They don't have no regards for the young or old. Parents said the conversations with Amir and his older brother were often about how to interact with police so he can live to see another day. Early Wednesday, Locke was killed by Minneapolis police. Wow. According to the body camera, Locke was sleeping when officers entered the apartment and yelled police, search warrant. Hands, hands, hands. One officer yells, while others yell, get the F, get on the effing ground. Oh, yeah, they're just such wonderful people, aren't they? Why do we think these people are nasty? Look at the way they talk. Get on the effing ground. I have no clue to why everybody think they're so nasty as they make their way towards the back of the couch where the man is seen wrapped in blankets at 6:48 a.m. according to the footage. One officer kicks the back of the couch, appearing to wake up the man, who looks up to see officers all around him. He begins to try to stand up, still wrapped in the blanket, and is seen holding a gun, which he had every right to do. He was a legal gun owner. You entered his apartment. He doesn't know what's going on. He don't know who you are. Three gunshots then are heard from officers. We've seen this time and time again, watching the situation with Ahmaud Arbery, Dante Wright, George Floyd, and our hearts go out to those families. Andre Locke said, naming the three black men killed in the controversial circumstances include two by police officers. We've been prepping our boys for years to always obey the law every day. It's not a regular conversation that some white households have, he said. Our conversations like this: how are you doing, son? Today, watch your surroundings, check your vehicle, make sure that everything is okay. If you're stopped by a police officer, make sure that you give them everything that they need and live to see another day. Make sure that you come back home. Wells said she was proud of Amir when he learned how to use the weapon and obtained his permit. The one aspect that worried her wasn't whether he would use it in dangerous situations with civilians, but it was if police saw him with it. But I actually worried about him encountering the police, like a lot of Black parents do. And not the way that that he encountered them on February 2nd, but just like if he had his weapon, if he ever got stopped and pulled over on the side of the road. My fears have always been something that dealt with the police department, she said. Minneapolis Police Department has been under intense scrutiny following the murder of Floyd, a Black man whose killing by a white MPD officer sparked national and global protests against police brutality, particularly towards Black Americans. Locke's fatal shooting raised intense criticism from Locke's family and others about Minneapolis warrant policy. Yes, there should be no knock warrant. Now we see another person that really wasn't involved in any kind of wrongdoing, but he lost his life. The deadly shooting of Breonna Taylor, who was also Black, during a no knock search warrant in March of 2020 in Louisville, Kentucky, also received national backlash and became central to racial reckoning. It is too many of us in our community that are dealing with this. It's too many in our community that continues to deal with this type of harassment, Andre Locke said. It is so unfortunate that this has happened again, and now it hits home. It hurts. That was his father. The warrant served that led to Locke's killing was related to a homicide under investigation by the neighboring St. Paul Police Department. A police spokesperson said Locke was not named in any warrant. Police said, okay, then why did you kill him? Why did you even enter his apartment? Okay. Woo, these people be just looking around for any of us to kill. It is not clear what is contained in the warrant. Well, why don't you know? Didn't that, how did the cop get it? How do you not know? And the Minneapolis officials said the totality of circumstances leading to their police officer shooting are under investigation by the state's Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. Andre Locke pointed out that there are several members of the family who are in law enforcement. I knew I saw that the first day that this came out, that there were quite a few police officers in Amir's family, including a cousin who mentored Amir on gun safety. We are not against police officers. We just want accountability. And, if you are a police officer in America, you should know there's no such thing as accountability for cops. Very few of them get any kind of punishment for what they've done in shooting someone. So, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison vowed to conduct a fair and thorough investigation, according to a statement. Amir Locke's life mattered. He was only 22 years old and had his own life ahead of him. His family and friends must now live the rest of their lives without him. No knock warrants have been a point of contention in terms of how police departments and cities choose to implement them. Breonna Taylor's killings at the hands of Louisville, Kentucky police shined a bright light on the issue when officers rammed their way into her apartment and shot her at least 8 times. The department said officers announced themselves and returned gunfire from her boyfriend, and he had every right to do that. He didn't know who was at the door. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey announced Friday night that he would temporarily ban police from seeking and executing no knock warrants. Though, like a similar policy change over a year ago, it still allows for no knock warrants in certain situations. What is it about y'all killing the wrong people, people that are not even listed on the warrant, and entering the wrong house or a wrong apartment, just like in this case? You know, I think when you're that reckless, you definitely should not have a no knock warrant under any circumstances at this point. The Minneapolis Police Department's SWAT team is generally supposed to be used for high risk warrants, as demonstrated by an internal risk assessment form. The city's warrant policies require officers in most cases to announce police and search warrant before crossing the threshold of the door into a home, even on no knock warrants. But a supervisor can decide whether that would create an imminent threat of physical harm and can allow officers to enter without announcement. With no knock warrants, there's no good that's going to come from it. It isn't. And in the case of Breonna Taylor, a cop lied to a judge in order to get that no knock warrant. And how embarrassing when you didn't find any drugs in Breonna Taylor's home and you did not find none in her ex boyfriend's home. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. When you claimed all these drugs were everywhere, they found none. In the case of Amir Locke, they were looking for a suspect in a homicide. They can't even get that right, ladies and gentlemen. They gunned down somebody that had nothing to do with the real person and real killer that was on that warrant. These cops are too reckless to carry out a no knock warrant. They're too reckless on a regular day. A senseless death of another young person that should never have been harmed by the police. Another funeral for no reason. Y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. I think this is tragic. It really is. He got several family members that are police officers. I wonder, are they cops in Minnesota or these are relatives that live elsewhere? Or maybe some are in Minnesota and some are outside of the state. Just curious. Not that it makes any difference or bring him back. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.